forgot my but we can go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Mindful Nurses Wellness Wednesdays. My name is Janelle, and we are hosting these events here at Mindful Nurses every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 to 10 on the East Coast. And our intention is just to create a space for nurses to come together and to receive guidance and practices in the realm of mindfulness and self-care and holistic wellness to support us as nurses, our mental health and well-being holistically. I myself was an emergency room nurse, currently working in public health, and my co-founder Claudia is a nurse practitioner working in dementia care right now. And yeah, we started this group about a year ago, so we're about a year in, and we're super excited to have all of you participating and everyone who's facilitated. It's been really inspiring to see all of the nurses doing this great work and supporting one another. And today we have a wonderful practice of meditation being shared with us by Gayatri Regester, and we're really happy to have you here with us, Gayatri. Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank
you
for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it'd be great to hear from you before we get started in the practice, just to hear from you a little bit about your experience as a nurse and your path with mindfulness and meditation and what brought you here today.
So my background is labor and delivery nursing. It's always where I worked right out of school. And I think what really started my path to meditation and mindfulness actually was back in nursing school when I was in my senior year clinical. I was in a VA hospital in their inpatient psychiatric unit. And, you know, just talking with patients and hearing so much of these, mostly were men that had gone away to war, and they were, you know, really battling with PTSD, and they kept saying over and over again, you know, you're prepared so much going to war, but to come back and to deal with, you know, the emotional and the physical trauma that you see, you know, there aren't those tools. No one taught them those things to prepare to deal with it. And so, you know, they live their lives with so many of these side effects, and it was really interesting being a part of that experience, because I could see, you know, that mirror back at me of, you know, my own traumas. I've never served in the military, but, you know, trauma, nonetheless, it's the same, how we hold on to it physically, and one of the symptoms and manifestations that come from trauma in the body and the mind and the soul trying to protect itself. And so I could see them mirroring the feelings that I was inwardly battling, and you know, very afraid to look at. And I also didn't have any tools. So my solution was just bury it, just pretend it's not there, and you know, a lot of substances to kind of numb those feelings. And I could just see kind of the life that I was setting myself up for if I didn't do anything. And that was when I, you know, was gifted a book, lessons in meditation, and you know, just started practicing, and I would bring it to the clinical with me, and you know, some of the patients, we would do these practices together. And I remember one day, and one of the gentlemen, he didn't use the word mantra, but he explained it, that there was like this voice in his head over and over again, he'll kind of repeat, that was, I'm a monster. And that was like his mantra that he had lived with for, you know, decades. And to just feel the like heartbreak that he had, to like wholeheartedly feel like that was what he felt like himself. And you know, we were doing these practices in meditation, and one day he just like so peaceful and calm and just so much love. And he was like, the voice is quiet, the voice is quiet. And it was just in that moment that I saw like
this has so much power. These techniques, these tools have power to transform our lives, transform our consciousness. And I was hooked. I was convinced that I need to dive deeper into this. And so that was kind of the journey that started my meditation practice. And it's really my inspiration now to see and to hear so many nurses, especially this last year, this pandemic, working in the front lines, and they're having very similar symptoms, severe anxiety and panic attacks and nightmares, and they don't know how to handle what they're having to face every day. I know in my nursing school we didn't learn this, the self-care, how do you deal with loss and death and difficult situations. How do you deal with those mentally and emotionally and physically? So it's just really my inspiration now to hear that, with my food and grandfather, that it's very important that we care, we give to ourselves. It's clear that when we go, we're going to be able to continue to, be really present and give completely to the patients about losing themselves, about becoming emotional, about, becoming reactive and making mistakes. And so there's so many benefits to the practice, and that's my inspiration to share.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's so heartfelt and so true how we all experience some sort of, whether it's capital T trauma, or some form of stress or anxiety in our lives or in our work. It's so important to have the tools both for ourselves and for our patients to be able to process all of that in a healthy way. And we're really happy to have you here sharing one meditation practice with us today to give us some tools to do that. It's really not part of our training as nurses. So a lot of us as nurses, like you said in your first clinical, working with former war veterans with so much PTSD, and myself, when I worked in the emergency room, I worked with a lot of people that had experienced trauma, sexual assault, different things like that. And I had no training in my nursing school for how to work with that. So I think it's so beautiful that that you found support from these tools of meditation and that you can share them with our community today. So thank you for coming and for sharing with us. And I know we're a little bit short on time, so whenever you feel more to share, or if you want to just dive into the practice, up to you. We're free to start.
I would say dive in. I think I'd like to just share the group. I hear a lot with nurses that there's not a lot of time. It's perceived a lack of time to learn something. And the beautiful thing about learning these tools is really, really simple, and they can just be a few minutes, but they're effective. Research is showing us now that even that consistency is actually more important than doing 1 hour for once a week, or once a month, and then not doing it again. But 5-10 minutes of a daily practice is actually what shifts and makes changes in the brain. It forms some habits and new thought patterns, and it doesn't even take a lot of time. That's the beauty of it. Some of these techniques,
more preparatory exercises I'll share, they can actually be done at work, which is really cool. So I'll share some tools that I used a lot during my day on the floor. And one of them, first one being tensing and relaxing with a double breath. you know, it's really, really hard to quiet our minds when our body is tense and restless. So this is just a really simple tool that kind of helps us physically let go of tension. You know, our bodies hold on to things. And a lot of times we know, like, oh, I'm holding on to tension because of this and because of that. But we also hold on to a lot of things unconsciously that we don't even know that we're still holding on to them, carrying them on our shoulders and our backs and all this. So this practice is actually helping to just consciously let go of, you know, the things that we're aware of, but also those unconscious little things that we hold on to. So it's a really good practice that you can do throughout your day, all the time. I do it all the time. So all you do is you're going to inhale through the nose with a double breath, so like this. And then you're going to kind of hold it for a moment, and you can even squeeze your hands, just feel like tension building in your body as you inhale. And then you're going to exhale through the mouth with a double breath. You can even kind of elongate out that exhalation, really let go of all of the physical tension, let go of the breath. And during this practice, if you know something that has been bugging you, maybe it's whatever it is, a coworker or situation or family member, whatever it is in your day, and you know it's causing you some trouble, even offer that up in the inhalation and say, let this go. Don't let this affect me. I'm not going to hold on to this all day because it really doesn't do any good. And then as you exhale, just feel that dissipating. Feel whatever tension, whatever resistance you may have. Just let it go. It doesn't need to bother us. It doesn't need to be held on to us. So let's just practice that a few times just so you get a feel. So we'll inhale through the nose. Tense and squeeze, and then exhale. Let the breath go. Inhale again, and exhale. And once more, inhale, and exhale. And I know this is actually a really helpful tool that I found actually going between patients' rooms. You know, we all know that sometimes we have difficult situations or dynamics going on in one room, and I realized that, you know, it's really unfair to take whatever's going on in another patient's room and just taking it into the next patient's room, you know, being kind of frustrated or short or agitated, and you know, it's not fair. And even, you know, even if it is a patient that's you know, giving us a hard time or the situation's difficult, so just every time you come into the room, just try and feel like it's a fresh start. Whatever happened before the day, you know, we don't need to hold on to it. You know, a lot of times, you know, our patients are scared, they're in pain, they're frustrated. So, you know, we can't hold on to these things. And so this is a great tool. Just every time you leave a patient's room, just do that a few times and just let it go. Don't build any resistances or any negative thoughts. Just let it go, whatever happened. And it really does help transform, I think, the day, your practice as a nurse, to just be really present, calm, and patient. I know it's really helped me, at least. And so another tool that I wanted to share is just a helpful breathing technique. Very simple, but it's called equal count breathing. And it's just a really beautiful practice to just start to interiorize our energy. You know, so much of our day, how we interact with the world, it's through our senses, and our energy is going outward. But, you know, when we connect with our breath, we just come back into our spine, into our center. And there, you know, there's nothing can touch us, nothing can touch our peace, our calmness, our joy, the love in our heart. And when we can, throughout the day, just connect with that, then we can go out in the world and share from that place, from a place of centeredness. And so this is a beautiful practice. Help us feel more in tune with our center. So for this, all we'll do is we're going to inhale through the nose for a count. We could start with a count of 4, and then you'll hold the breath without any tension, but just holding it for a count of 4, and then we'll exhale through the nose for another count of 4. And I tend to start with 4 just at the beginning of the practice. A lot of times we are a little stressed and have a little bit of tension, and we know as nurses that when that happens, our breath is more shallow. We don't get those full diaphragmatic breaths. But as you do this for a few minutes, you'll start to feel that calming of the mind, of the body, and you'll feel, oh, I can extend this a little longer to a count of 6 or a count of 8, count of 12 maybe. And just feel kind of where your body's at the time. None of these things should cause more tension or more stress. So if your body is really, you're going through something and all you can do is 4, great, stick with the 4. But if it feels like you can extend it eventually, try to do that too, just to get those fuller, deeper breaths. So we can close our eyes to do this and just, check our posture, make sure that our spine is nice and tall. We can bring the shoulder blades just slightly inward towards each other, and you'll feel that opening of the chest, relaxing our shoulders. And then just close your eyes, gazing at the point between the eyebrows. This is the seat of our higher awareness. And just start with an inhalation of 4 through the nose, holding the breath for 4, and exhale through the nose for a count of 4. Inhale for 4, hold the breath, and exhale for 4. Inhale, hold the breath, and exhale. Let's try now to extend it to a count of 6. So let's inhale through the nose for 6. Holding the breath for 6. And exhale for 6. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. And let's now, keeping our eyes closed, just let go of this breathing practice. Just allowing the breath to come in and out through the nose naturally. And just begin to bring awareness to your breath. We'll use the breath as a focal point because it has a unique relationship with body, mind, breath connection. As we bring more awareness to our breath, naturally it begins to slow down. And with the mind follows, the thoughts become quiet. You just begin to connect deeper with your center, your inner self. So to watch the breath, we're just going to notice wherever it comes in and out through the nose. Watching at that point the movement of the breath as it flows in and out. Letting go of any feeling of control. Just surrender to the movement, allowing it to flow naturally at its own accord. You can imagine that you're sitting on the beach, watching the waves of the ocean as they come in and out. We can't control the waves of the ocean. We're just simply an observer of the movement. And so, like those waves, just be an observer of your breath. And we'll add a mantra to this practice of watching the breath. A mantra is a word or a few words that has power to transform our consciousness. So as we inhale, we're going to mentally chant to ourselves, I am. And with each exhalation, mentally affirm an affirmation, a quality that you'd like to possess. Maybe it's calmness, peace, joy, love. With each breath, feel that you are affirming your higher reality. As you inhale, I am. With each exhalation, affirm that quality. I am peace. I am joy. I am strength. And as we continue to watch our breath using our mantra, we're just going to curl the right forefinger with each inhalation, just slightly curling it towards the palm. And as you exhale, letting the palm go back to normal, to neutral position. This gentle movement just helps us to center ourselves. So we'll continue this practice for a few moments, watching our breath, using our mantra, and curling slightly the index right forefinger. And if at any point your mind begins to wander, just come back to your breath, back to your mantra. And you may feel naturally the slowing of the breath. Enjoy this slowing down as you come more and more interiorized. So let's practice for a few more moments. And let's close our meditation with a visualization. Visualize yourself staring out over a lake at nighttime. On the surface of the lake, you can see the moon above you, but the image is distorted with ripples on the surface of the lake. These ripples are like our thoughts, but with the breath and with relaxation, we can calm those ripples on the surface. With each breath, feel the stillness, the calmness, smoothing out the surface of the lake. Visualize now the lake perfectly smooth and perfectly reflecting the moon above it. And so, like that lake, we can remain perfectly centered and still in ourselves. We reflect the inner joy, the inner calmness in our heart. So let's feel that as we go through our day tomorrow and the rest of the week, let's feel that we can take this calmness throughout our activity, throughout our interactions, our service. Nothing and no one can disturb this inner peace. And if anyone challenges you at all, or any situation disturbs that peace, just come back to your breath for a moment. Come back to your center You find this stillness within yourself. This is your eternal reality. Om, peace. Amen. Gently, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Gayatri.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you for guiding us in this place. Very beautiful way to end the day for everyone. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your heart and your practice.
It's my joy to share, and I'd love to share again sometime soon.
Best Gayatri, and
Bye, friends. Thank you.